The site of the Battle of Camlan, King Arthur's last battle, is the subject of much debate. Geoffrey of Monmouth places it in Cornwall, so it's little surprise that the unknown author of the Alliterative Morte Arthure places it there too, because the structure of the Alliterative Morte Arthure is based very strongly on Geoffrey's narrative. The poem has incredible pace, and when we get to the final battle, the alliteration mounts up, becomes more powerful. It really suits the battle scene as Arthur's 1800 men take on the hordes of Mordred. So let's read this final passage now, where Arthur finally destroys Mordred and his army. But, as we'll see, at what great cost to himself. Then he draws into Dorset and delays no longer. Doleful without doubt and with dropping tears, he carries on into Cornwall, with care in his heart on the trail of that traitor. He tracks full and true, and turns in by the Tamar in search of that traitor, to find him in a forest the Friday thereafter. The king alights on foot and fervently declares to all his fine folk they will fight on this field. Now his enemy issues from the edge of the woods with hosts of aliens in a horrible show. Sir Mordred the Malebranche, with many of his people, fans out of the forest from every side. In 7 great battalions in seemly display, some 60,000, a startling sight, and all fighting folk from faraway lands, their front finely fashioned by the fresh strands. And the host of Arthur? His knights were about in all 1800, as entered in the rolls. Without mighty Christ this was a meeting unmatched, to melee in those lands with that man and his multitude. Then that right royal king of the Round Table rides on a regal steed and arranges his men and assembles his vanguard for best battle advantage. Sir Ewain and Sir Eric and other great earls then with much honour take command of the middle ward, with Merac and Meneduc mighty in arms. Idris and Aylmer, their admirable squires, are stood with Arthur and 70 knights. He rules the rear ward readily thereafter, reckoned the most robust of all the Round Table. And thus he forms up his forces and cries out afresh to encourage his men quickly, speaking these knightly words. I beseech you, sirs, for the sake of our Lord, that you do well today and dread no weapon. Fight fiercely now and defend yourselves. Fell all yonder foul folk, and the field shall be ours. That sort are just Saracens, worthless and unsound. Set on them savagely for the sake of our Lord. If today on this earth we are destined to die, we shall be hoisted to heaven before we are half cold. Let not one of their soldiers allay your lordly work. Lay yonder lads low is how this game completes. Take heed not of my life, nor believe no tell tales, but with your bright weapons to be busy by my banners, and let their sternest guards be my staunchest knights standing, and hold them lordly aloft to show where we lead. If any rogue rip one down, then rescue it quickly. Work now for my renown, as today my war ends. Either my wealth or my woe will unwind by your work. Let Christ in his comely crown comfort you all, you the kindest of creatures that a king ever led. I give you all my blessing, with a blithe will, and all you bold Britons, may true bliss be yours. Pipers called all together as prime approached. Those prize men all prepared to prove their prowess. With brutal fierce breaths men blow bragging trumpets and comely cornets to call those knights together. And they join with jollity all these gentle warriors. No jostling was jollier, I judge, than that day when Britons boldly brace shields on their arms, cross themselves by Christ, and cast lances in feuters. Then the host of Sir Arthur cries loud at his foe, and in one shock of shields shoves forth without shirking. They shot to the schiltrons with high ringing shouts, through bright shining shields and wounding knights surely. Readily they ride, those men of the Round Table, ripping through mail with their hardened rich steel. They burst through broad burnies and through burnished helms, and hack heathen men down, and hew throats asunder. Fighting with fine steel, blood runs from those felled, of the fiercest at the front, ferocious no more. Yet heathens from Argyle and Irish kings envelop our vanguard with venomous men. Pagans and Picts with perilous weapons despoil our knights with their spiteful spears, and hewed down the highest with hearty blows. Through the whole battle they hold great sway, thus fiercely they fight on manifold sides, so that of those bold Britons much blood spills forth, and none dares rescue them for all the riches on earth. So strong was their stern foe, being strengthened by others. The king dares not stir one step, but stood his ground. 3 striking attacks were destroyed by his strength. "Idris," cried Arthur, "your help is needed. I see Sir Ewain beset by many keen Saracens. Be ready at the rescue. Array yourself quickly. Hurry with your hardiest to help your father. Assault them on the side. Assist yonder lords. Sorrow will haunt my life, lest they be soundly saved." Earnestly Idris assures him thereafter, "In faith he is my father. I shall never forsake him. He has fostered and fed me and my fair brothers, but so help me God, I cannot go to him. I cast aside all such blood ties to serve only you. I have never for nobody balked at his bidding, and been blithely obedient to work at his behest. He kindly commands me, speaking these knightly words, that I should loyally oblige you and no other lord, a command I shall keep to, if Christ permits. He is my elder, we shall both meet our end. He will fall before me, I shall follow after. If he be destined to die on this earth today, let Christ, comely crowned, take care of his soul." Then that rich king roars, with regret in his heart, holding his hands up high and looking to the heavens. "Why had not dear God destined this to be thus, that I be deemed to die instead of you all? Such a loss I prefer than to be a lifelong lord of all owned by Alexander while he lived on earth." Sir Ewain and Sir Eric, these excellent lords, enter in on the host and eagerly strike at the heathens of Orkney and Irish kings. They gouge at the greatest with their ground swords, hack at those hulks with their hard weapons, lay down those lords with loathsome blows. They shred to the haunches shoulders bearing shields, and mangle asunder strong mail through the middle. No earthly king ever claimed such honour as did King Arthur alone on his dying day. Thus the drought of the day dried all their hearts, and drinkless both died. No dejection was greater.